The Gauntlet, Chapter 28. Farah was frozen. She could feel Essie tugging at her arm and the warmth of Alex hissing something in her ear. She could only watch as Amari collapsed to his knees. The rings clattered out of his hand and onto the marble floor, where some spun giddily, almost tauntingly, on their edges before falling over. His mother dropped to his side gracefully. Amari, Amari! She shook him. His head lolled, and he cried out, I never learned this game. Farah felt an unexpected pang of sympathy for Amari. Of course, he wouldn't have played with Turkish rings. If they had been meant for adults when he had been alive, and the gauntlet had been created for him before he ever grew up, when would he have had a chance to? Lady Amari hissed in a breath and faced the kids. She didn't look nice or benevolent or even motherly now. Her teeth were bared and her eyes flashed and her hands contorted into fists. Farah could see the flash of long, sharp nails piercing the delicate skin of her own palms. You must have tampered with them, Lady Amari accused. You must have. He's lost his breath. He doesn't have his energy. Admit it now or I... Her voice trailed away, and she caught at the collar of her caftan with an audible gasp, her eyes rolling wildly as she stared at the ceiling. Confused, the kids tilted their heads back too. There was something forming up near the ceiling, a cloud fluffy and gray. As they watched, it grew larger and larger, pressing back up against the marble until the columns and foundation of the room trembled. Then a crack of thunder, a loud, angry snarl echoed through the room. Amari, his mother screamed. It's the jinn. The palace seemed to break away from its roots, giving a shoulder that tossed the kids to the floor. Lady Amari bent over her son's body and shielded him as the palace jerked and began to somersault. Oh my God, Alex said, wrapping his legs and arms around one of the room's columns. Essie clutched a window frame. Ahmad buried his face into Farah's chest, and Farah put everything she had into clinging to him and the door. She caught a nauseating glimpse of the ground. Lady Amari was firmly anchored as stone, though. Nothing was able to budge her. Has losing been enough to kill the architect? The palace flipped again. Farah lost her grip. She and Ahmad slid toward one of the many windows and the open sky. Essie straddled the window and caught Farah and Ahmad with both hands as they tumbled past. I don't think I can hold on for very long, Farah. We're going to splatter into the bloody ocean, Alex screamed as the palace did another turn. Farah wished she knew what to do. Essie's fingers gripped the frame for dear life, and Farah whispered a prayer. It couldn't end like this, not with Ahmad in her arms now and her friends next to her, not when they had everything they needed, everyone that mattered, back together. Farah, Essie, Alex! The cry was so faint and snatched away that for a moment Farah thought she had imagined it. Then it came again, closer and stronger, right outside the lip of the window. It's VJ, he called out. Essie quickly whipped her head around, bobbing triumphantly next to the open window with a familiar ragtag and patched up balloon and a familiar grin. Listen, I need you guys to let go. Come quickly. VJ was calm, and his voice was even as he raised it slightly to be heard over the wailing of the wind. What? Essie yelled. I can't. Let go. I'm right here. I'll catch each one of you. I promise. One at a time. Ahmad first. Slide out and I'll catch you and we can get out. You have to get to the dock. Madame Nasira is waiting. People are leaving the game. Finally. Essie bit her lip, looking doubtful. For once, Alex was nodding confidently. Farah looked down into her brother's face. He stared up at her, pale and frightened. Ahmad, she said firmly, I'm going to let you go, and that nice man is going to catch you, okay? You need to be strong and trust in your Apu. Okay, Ahmad replied. 1, 2. Farah gave him a squeeze and clenched her eyes shut as she let him go. A tense moment of silence followed. VJ's voice boomed through, proud and relieved. Okay, kid, I got you. Alex, you come next. Alex let go of the column and slid through the window. He screamed the whole way down until he landed in the basket. Farah inhaled sharply and followed him, not daring to open her eyes as she felt her body slide effortlessly over the smooth marble ceiling. One moment, she was in midair, and the next, she felt the firmness of the basket around her, then the tightness of Ahmad's arms. Farah, that was so cool. Can we do it again? Ahmad asked. No, Alex and Farah said together. Essie, you need to come out, called VJ. Farah could make out Essie's face, rigid and doubtful. Farah tried to smile encouragingly, though she felt her lips wobble. Come on, Essie, just close your eyes. It makes it easier. I can't let go. I'm scared, Essie said. You can do it. You're the bravest one of us all, Farah shouted. Essie looked at them, sighed, closed her eyes. She slid out and over the sill, and VJ caught her, giving her an extra squeeze. There you go, my brave girl, putting the rest of us to shame. Essie beamed at him as he set her down. Farah held out her arm and she snuggled up to her, Ahmad quickly finding a space for both of their laps. Are we headed back to the sock? Alex said. VJ fastened on a pair of goggles and shook his head firmly. The entire city is falling to pieces. We're going back to the dock. Where's Henrietta and the other lizards? Essie asked. They're waiting for you all at the dock, VJ answered. They're all safe too. Ready? Farah caught his arm. But the architect! Farah, are you serious? Blurted out Alex. He kidnapped your brother. He got us trapped in here. He's the adopted son of a terrible djinn. Farah stared hard at VJ. It was true. She knew it. The architect was the one who had stolen VJ's life, haunted Aunt Zora, and had Farah trembling at her knees with the thought of what might happen if she hadn't been deft with her fingers, if she hadn't found her brother in time, if she hadn't dared to suggest that they come after Ahmad to begin with. But he was also human. Somewhere, deep down, under the clever tricks and the terrible challenges and the tantrums that shook the walls of his own self-imposed prison, he was loved by his parents to the point of his own moral destruction. The gauntlet beat with his heart, with his memories of being human, from the elegant palaces to the simple warmth in the conversations with the soak. He was a kid. VJ's eyes softened. Look over there, Farah. Farah followed the angle of his finger. There, in the distance, unmoored from its tracks and weaving back and forth, was the sand train. I think the architect will be fine. For now, though, we need to get out of here.